What we got here is the Fiilex Q10 color LED Fresnel. Now I was able to use this on a previous shoot just this week and thought I'd just give my thoughts and reviews on it. First off, it is solidly built. It is all metal pretty much for everything except the some pieces on the end here, but everything like the yoke, solid metal. These handles nice and solid. And we got two locking yokes here, one on each side. Really help lock in your tilt or your pan, whatever you're doing, you know. So you can really nicely lock it in and you know it's not gonna go anywhere. And even when they're loose, it's still got some tightness to it. So we still, it's not gonna be flopping around. You're not gonna undo it and it's not gonna go boom. It's gonna stay nice and tight even without it locked. So that's a nice plus there straight off the bat. Now this does have the Fresnel lens. I think this is, it looks like 8 or 9 inch, I believe. I can measure it here. Yeah, we're talking about 9 inches there on the Fresnel lens side, which is nice, a very nice wide lens. Now, I'm not much of an LED guy. I actually hate LEDs for the most part because of all the accessories you gotta put on, and they usually have pretty bad color anyways. I'm more like a tungsten guy. When I do DP work or gaffer work, I try to use tungsten if we have the budget and the time and the power. Tungsten's just got that great color quality for whatever you're shooting. If it's food or people, it just looks great on anything. Now I gotta say, this light really impressed me first of all because this is it. This is all you have. You got the light, you got one cable to plug it in for the power. That's it. There's no ballast, there's no cable from this to the ballast and then a cable from the ballast to the power. There's none of that junk going on. And this light, it's almost like whoever built this had the tungsten in their mind from like Mo Richardson or so, because they have this, it has a spot and flood built in, and it actually, like, you can actually spot and flood an LED, which is very unusual. So it's basically like an old Mo Richardson, but it's LED, and you can spot flood, and it has great color. So let's get into the more specifics here. You have your spot flood. You're able to move this yoke apparently up and down, I guess based on how big of a shimmer you have, if you need to get a little bit extra. If you're trying to, sorry about the squeak here. If you're trying to tilt down, it gives you just that extra room if you had a big shimmer on there, which is a bonus. On the front here, these are removable barn doors. You can, there's a little switch up here. It's a little quick release. You just push in and up and then quickly take off the barn doors if you wanted. And I gotta say, these barn doors are very robust, very nice, nicely built. And they also extend as well. The side pieces, you can get just a little bit extra if you needed to. We can also take out the Fresnel here. This is nice and light. It is plastic. I thought it would be glass, but I was surprised it's plastic, but it still has the same Fresnel look to it, and it seems to do the job just fine. Here's the exposed diode there. If we spot and flood it in, you can see it actually spots and floods in front of the diode, just moving the whole lens itself instead of the actual LED, which is actually pretty smart. So that's a cool feature, useful feature. We'll pop this back in here. Up top we have the carry handle, very robust thing. The only problem with this light I found is it weighs a ton. It says 44 pounds online. It feels more like 60. But it's not a problem if you're like me and you work out every day, because you got to move this stuff around like it's nothing. But if you have someone that's not qualified to lift, they might need a couple hands to get this on a stand. You gotta definitely use some kind of low boil combo. It's gotta be a nice beefy stand, because you do not want this thing falling over. It takes a junior pin, junior receiver, if you can, I can't show you, but it takes the junior sized pin. Up top here again, we got a fan here, and then there's a fan on each side of the unit, one here and one on the other side, to really help out with the cooling, I guess. So that's good to have 3 fans. One thing I found about Aperture products sometimes is they have built-in fans, but if you leave them out in the sun, they'll overheat relatively quickly, especially out here in Phoenix. It gets up to 110, and if you have something directly in the sun, it's not gonna like that. And once those apertures go out, they need 15 or 20 minutes to reset before you can use them again. And if you're on set waiting and the director wants to shoot and your light goes out and it's 20 minutes, you've gotta wait, then that's a problem. So I would feel very confident leaving this in the sun, because it's got the 3 fans, and it looks like it would be a very cooling efficient fixture. All right, moving to the back here, we've got all of the little buttons and stuff. So we got intensity, we got the CCT and hue, and then the green, magenta / saturation button. Very easy layout. Sometimes the menus on some of these things are like stupid and it doesn't make sense, but this you could just go straight out the bat. You don't need to read anything if you're confused. It's super intuitive, it's easy. So let's get it plugged in and we'll show you how it's going. All right, so right here we have the input for AC. Takes the usual kind of jumper plug. It's a twist lock. Boom, and that's it. And that's the only cable you need to run it if you want. That's it. See, easy. Let's get this plugged in. All right, and she's loading up there. One thing I do like about this is it can be off, but you still have a readout when it's plugged in. So at least you know that it's powered up and it's ready to go when you need to strike it. We've also got LAN here, the Cat 5 or whatever the Cat is. I don't do too much of that. And then we got DC in, DMX out, both 5-pin. And then it also has wireless built in. I haven't had to use that yet. The only other problem I've seen is when you get this thing on a big stand like a combo and you get it up maybe 20 feet, not 15 or 20. If you don't have this wirelessly connected or DMX'd, and you're kind of on the move with it, and you need to, if you want to make an adjustment like intensity wise or whatever, you got to bring this down if it's on a stand 10 feet in the air. You got to bring it down, adjust it, bring it back up, because it's hard to reach. If you have it tilted down, you can't reach it if you're 10 feet up, you know, it's just, or you got to get a ladder or something. All right, let's go ahead and strike it up here. It strikes instantly, which I love. Sometimes LEDs, it's like a delay to strike, I don't know why. It should be instant, which is great. We got intensity, we can adjust here, very quick and easy. Our CCT and our plus minus green here. You can also use this little menu button to do fine-tune adjustments if you wanted to, or more precise, you could say. But I do like the knobs. They're nice and big, easy, and they rotate. They feel great. Now, if you go over all the way, you can go to menu here. There's a couple different things you can do. So right now we have it on Easy CCT, which is just a normal daylight, tungsten, whatever look you want. We can go into, there's preset modes as well, 56. These are just, I don't know if anybody else has used this, but this is what the baseline is. And then we can get into some RGB stuff. So that's the great thing about this. It's got great color. Here it is, Easy HSI, that's the one I want. So, so you can quickly go through some hues here and find a color quick and easy, and adjust the saturation as well. So pretty great. I love it that it's got color. All right, I put it back into Easy CCT mode here, and we're gonna check the color quality of the light, because a lot of LED manufacturers say that they have a high CRI value, and they're kind of skewing the numbers because some of the important numbers like R9 or the R13 are very low, but overall the score is high. So we're gonna check that with the meter here. All right, I got my Sekonic color meter here. Let's take a peek. All right, so straight off the bat, we're getting 5,500 Kelvin at 5,600. So just a little over 100 Kelvin off, which is not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. With the CRI here, we're getting 95.7 with an R9 value of 82.4. That's a little bit low, but pretty good for an LED. The R9 is 82. We got the R10 at 98, R11 92, and the R12 at 89. So the main ones, R9, R12, and R15, they're pretty high. So overall 95.7, which is not too bad. We're getting a delta UV score of 0.0009, which is very minimal. If we go over to the spectrum, we got some spikes in the blues and the yellows, which is kind of to be expected. But overall, the spectrum looks pretty good. If we go to the TM30, we're getting an overall 95 on the TM30. And it looks like we're just pushing a little bit in the purples. They're oversaturating the purples just a touch, but everything else looks pretty good. If we go to TLCI, we're getting an overall score of 97, which is great. So overall, it's pretty accurate and reproducing good color quality tones. So measuring at 9 feet or 3 meters, we're getting a lux readout of 3,970. At 3 feet, we're getting 24,500. So kind of quite the fall off there. That's the thing with a lot of these LEDs. I know Aperture measures theirs at 3 feet, but the fall off after 3 feet is just awful, so they don't measure at 9 feet, which is usually the standard. So people think, wow, great output, and then you get somewhere and you got to move the light back, and the DP's like, I need more output, and it's already all the way up, and that's all you're getting. Now I don't know if you can hear this here, but I wouldn't say it's loud. It's not loud at all, but it does have a little bit of fan noise. But if you're doing interviews, you would never hear this unless you were right up on somebody. So it's relatively very quiet. I'm gonna swap it back over to easy HSI mode, and let's set it to a nice deep red. Just going through here, taking a look at the different color hues. Not as deep as I would have thought with some of the reds. It's more like a kind of pink tone there. I wish it was a little bit deeper red, but that's what you're getting. So, I'm not usually using crazy colors that much anyways. You can also get into your XY coordinates if you want to dial those in on the ICTXY. So going back to the main easy CCT, we do have a range here all the way from 2,000 all the way up to 10,000, which is nice. And this does dim evenly all the way down to 0% is what they say on the website. This does have an IPX5 rating, which says that you can get water on it, but low pressure water. So I wouldn't be leaving it out in a monsoon storm or a heavy downpour, but if you were doing some kind of water work and this was someone who's splashing and there was getting water on it, it would probably be fine. So let's go ahead, and we have the Chimera here. I'm gonna blind you for a second. So the Chimera, sorry, the squeaking is not the light, it's the stand. That's a piece of junk. So it comes with, or you have the option to buy, this adapter ring, which you put in your Chimera here. This is nice and solid steel, and it looks like you have the option to make more or less tension on these pins that you put in. I haven't moved them yet, but just on the middle ones for each of these, it's quite tight, and it's kind of hard to get in, but once you get it in, it's not going anywhere. So this just pops right on the front. You pop it up and pop her in there. Real simple. Boom. But I like to build the softbox off of it and then put it on, because it is quite the muscle to get it in all the pins. So if you opt to get the Octobox, it's called the Octo 5. It has the snap grid as well, and you've got your different flavors of diffusion. It looks like it's a magic cloth, and there's a quarter grid, possibly half grid. So we'll break this bad boy out. Very easy, very self-explanatory. So we got the box put together here. As you can see, it's quite large. That's the problem with these Chimeras. Once you start getting all this stuff on, it gets pretty big quick. But you get a nice soft look. Let's just pop it in there. Once you get it in, it's nice and robust. Again, these handles here really locking in. I'm gonna have that's with both handles released there, and it's still tight. It's not super tight, but it's tight enough where it's not gonna flop on you, which is really nice. But once you get it locked in, now you know it's not going anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this, and let's get this Chimera on. So these are pretty nice. You just Velcro right in. I'm gonna put on the quarter, looks more like full grid. I'm more of a grid guy. I like the grids. Give a nice tone to the face and direction. All right, that's with the grid on there. I'm gonna turn it up a bit. Let's get cranking it. And that's full intensity there with the Fresnel lens in. Nice even spread. Nothing wrong with that. Now I'm gonna pop on the snap grid as well, just so you guys can see it. All right, and that's with the snap grid on there. Let's rotate it over here. I'm gonna do the same measurement at 9 feet and see what kind of reading we're getting with the full grid. All right, now we're getting about 1400 lux at 9 feet, which is still pretty decent. All right, well, just to wrap it off here, great unit. I really enjoyed using this. It's, as I would call it, a tungsten unit, but LED based. Interface, really easy to use, really easy, one plug and play. There's no ballast, no all this stuff you gotta bring, which is also great because just less stuff to carry. You got the unit and the plug. Fresnel design, very nice, and the spot flood is really gonna come in handy as well. And that's all I really have to say about the Q10 Fiilex Color LED Fresnel. I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys have any questions or anything, please drop a comment and let me know.